Hello and welcome to another Wiley Wednesday. Now, we haven't had a Wiley Wednesday for some weeks now. That's not because we don't have Wiley things to say, it's simply because it's been quite a busy time at Richard and Paul. So, what is today's Wiley Wednesday? Many of you will be thinking about planting out overwintering onion sets and also overwintering garlic. And before you do give a think about how you're going to manage the bed and how you're going to weed the bed. I think it's quite important because onions and garlic do not like being crowded. If onions are too crowded and garlic are too crowded, they won't grow as well as if they have plenty of space around them. That means that you really need to try and keep on top of weeding the beds from the time you put the cloves and onion sets in right through until you harvest them, which is likely to be around sort of June time of next year. We hand weed our onion bed and our garlic bed, but if you are going to use a hoe, you need to make sure that your rows are wide enough apart that when you hoe, you're not going to disturb the soil around the onions and the garlic as they grow. And also you need to make sure that when you are hoeing, you don't clip or chip into any of those growing cloves and onions, because that will cause disease. One thing that we did last year, many of you will have seen the truly terrible harvest of onions and garlic that we had, is we felt sorry for some volunteer plants that had come up, particularly calendula and rocket. And we left those in and planted the garlic and the onions around them. Now, what that did is it allowed A, the nutrients to be taken up by the other plants, which was not a good idea. But B, one of the things that it really did is it increased the amount of moisture around the bulbs and around the cloves, because the other plants, the calendula roots and the roots from the rocket, and of course those roots from the rocket do travel quite a lot as well, they of course held an awful lot of moisture. And I think it was the amount of moisture that those plants held in their roots that really caused the white rot that we had in much of our onion and garlic harvest last year. So they don't like overcrowding in any way whatsoever, so make sure you do leave a good space between them. Now, our garlic, our normal garlic, is going to be planted about 5 inches apart in rows about 6 inches apart. That's quite close in many ways. If you're going to be hoeing between your rows, then make sure you're planting the width of the hoe plus a good couple of inches on top of that. So you're most probably going to want to put your rows about 8 inches apart. If you have a wider hoe, then you need to put them a bit further apart. In terms of sowing along the row, again, if you're going to be hand weeding, they can be a little bit closer. If you're going to be hoeing, then make sure that you've got space for your hoe to get in there, because you don't want to chip any of those growing bulbs. So that is really the Wiley Wednesday tip of today. And it's not just about onions and garlic. Do think about how you are going to maintain your beds over the whole of the growing season of whatever crop you are sowing or planting out, because it's important that we give those crops, those plants rather, which we have tended or we are sowing carefully, the best opportunity to get to their premium quality of harvestable produce. because we don't want to spend a whole growing season growing things to find that actually, because of something we did early on, like for us last year, not taking out those volunteer plants and possibly also planting a bit too deep last year. We don't want to do all of that work, go through a whole growing season to find we don't have what we would like to harvest at the end of it. So there we are. That's the Wiley Wednesday. Think about what you're sowing and growing and how you're going to maintain the beds through their whole growing season. I think I've said that several times. And then plant or sow accordingly. Now, one other thing that I'm just going to mention is, and I'm ridiculously excited about this, absolutely ridiculously excited. Through the post today, we have received, look at that, elephant garlic cloves. Now, these are just enormous. They weigh about 35 grams each. They're the size of, I think, a small egg. And we have about 20 of these. So because of the amount of garlic we're going to be overwintering, and these 20 cloves of elephant garlic, even though I've thoroughly prepared a bed for our normal garlic, which we're growing mesodrome this year, I did that yesterday. I thoroughly weeded it. It's where our tomatoes were last year, this just gone growing year. It's thoroughly weeded and the soil is really good and light. So our standard garlic, our mesodrome garlic, is going to be going in there. This one, I think I'm going to need to prepare another bed for this garlic. I think it is going to be going where we had our yellow courgettes this year. That didn't really do great for us. Anyway, there we are. Oh, I can't believe I'm growing elephant garlic. Something else I've never grown before. I thought I was growing some elephant garlic last year, but I think it was just big garlic, because the mesodrome garlic we've received this year as cloves and the whole bulb is absolutely enormous. So I think what I thought might have been elephant garlic last year was just big garlic. Anyway, I need to get on and prepare the other garlic bed for these elephant garlic. So I hope you found this Wiley Wednesday useful, and I hope you will join us again. If you like what we do, please do subscribe. And you can also visit us at our Facebook page, Richard and Paul. And also we have Planet Vegetaria, which is our Facebook group. And as some of you may know, I'm also doing a regular blog now on richardandpaul.com/blog. So please do keep an eye on that. And there is a subscribe button to that blog in the right-hand panel. So if you put your email into that, you'll be informed every time there's a new blog post. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye.